Next we'll have Mufti Muhammad Muneer. Mufti Muhammad Muneer holds a master's in Hadith from the University of Medina, and he is currently pursuing his PhD. He studied under prominent scholars including Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad, Hafidhullah, and he currently resides in Philadelphia. He's also the founder of Hadith Disciple. Join me in welcoming to the stage Mufti Muhammad Muneer, who will be discussing the topic Masjid Aqsa, our first Qiblah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In Al-Islam, there is a great deal of emphasis placed upon nurturing, cultivating, raising, rearing the child. The duty, the responsibility, the obligation, and the severe punishment for parents, older brothers and sisters, uncles, aunts, community members. It takes an entire village to raise a child. If the child grows up in a corrupt, rotten fashion, everyone is to blame, from the parents on down. Islam places a great deal of emphasis on the obligation, it's not a choice, on the seriousness, the importance, and the virtue of raising your children correctly, properly. And there are many aspects and dimensions to raising children properly. There is the spiritual aspect, which is the most important. And then there's the physical aspect, which is extremely important. Many people underestimate and look down upon. The child needs breast milk. The child's diaper needs to be changed. The child needs to be spoon-fed. The child needs a roof over its head, clothing, warmth, protection, etc. The child needs recreation. Children have to learn how to play. They have to learn their motor skills. They have to learn how to do things. It's good for them to be fit and active. And the children, they need education. How to read, how to count. They need to know their colors. They need to know, etc., 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 etc. So therefore, the Prophet ﷺ, in so many authentic hadith, let alone the Quran, we have a clear blueprint for what we are to do with our children and what we aren't to do. And one of the most important aspects of bringing your children up, raising them, nurturing them, cultivating them, is teaching them lessons at a young, tender age, before they even need that lesson, and before they can comprehend that lesson, and before they know the depths of that lesson. And that is what, alhamdulillah, our parents, our teachers tried to do when we were younger. An example of this is when you get in trouble in school. You threw something at someone. You laughed at someone. You stole something. You hit someone. The first thing the teacher asks you is, why did you do that? Why did you throw that? Why did you hit this person? And the child, who's a good child, comes from a good home, says, I don't know. They did it. I don't know. They told me to do it. I saw them throw it, so I threw it. What does the teacher say? The first thing the teacher says is, everybody jumps off a bridge. Will you jump? That's the first thing that the teacher asks you. Not is it right or wrong, but do you base your actions just off of what other people do? What are the chances of a group of people all jumping off a bridge to commit suicide at the same time? In a cult, it happens. People drink things, people poison themselves, people they kill themselves, so on and so forth. But in most cases, 10, 20 people aren't going to just jump off the bridge at the same time. But the teacher wants to teach the child the importance of this type of wisdom. You cannot base your actions off of other people's actions. You threw something at someone because you thought it was the right thing to do. Okay, that's better. We can discuss that. I hit this classmate because he hit me. All right, no problem. We can discuss that. Maybe you should have told the teacher. Maybe you had the right to hit them back. But at least that's better than I only did it because they did it. So this is an example of wisdom and of logic that the parent, that the father, that the mother, that the big brother tries to teach the child at a young age. You throwing a crayon at someone in class, it's bad, but it ain't that bad. But when you get bigger, when you grow up, you have your own life, your own freedom, your own money, your own thoughts and feelings, you making a bad decision, you being monkey see, monkey do, is very dangerous. The stakes are higher. Is this not the case? And the teacher's job, the parent's job, was for you to get the point at a young age. So when you grow up, you really already got the point. And from that, brothers and sisters in Al-Islam, are the different stories that we were here when we were younger, the nursery rhymes that we were here when we were younger. A wise man once said when we were younger, our parents, our teachers, they would always say these things. And when I was growing up, it was a famous book, a book that's older than me, a book that's older than my parents, a book that was written by a slave. Not a high-born scholar, an aristocrat, no, a slave. And this slave lived and died a very, very long time ago. And he wrote a collection of stories, of wisdoms, of morals. The point that you're supposed to get as a child, for when you grow up to be a grown woman and to a grown man, you really get the point. Anybody know the name of this author or the name of this book or these stories or these fables that was written by this ancient slave? Anybody know? Your parents never read these stories to you? They never taught you this in the first grade, second grade, preschool. You never seen it on YouTube short? I'm that old. You guys make me feel that old, that outdated. You guys never heard of this? It's a very, very famous children's book, which is not just a children's book. That slave was from ancient Greece, and his name was Aesop. You guys never heard of Aesop fables? Not once, nobody in the crowd? Nobody heard of Aesop's fables? Tell you. Check it out. Google it. Aesop was a Greek slave, and for one reason or another, he was very wise. He was very witty. And he wrote a collection of fables, of made-up stories, talking about animals, insects, birds, fish or fishes. Both are valid in English. The plural of fish can be fish and fishes. He wrote this collection of fables to allow children to be taught wisdom and for them to understand right and wrong and how to think and understand independently when the stakes aren't that high. It really doesn't matter now. It does matter, but it's not the same as you being a grown man. And one of these famous stories of Aesop is the lion and the three bullocks, or the lion and the three bulls. So there's a lion. A lion is a very famous animal, a fierce animal, a ferocious animal, a powerful animal, big and strong, quick. And it's an intelligent animal. And it's a very sneaky, cunning animal. A lion, it doesn't have the stamina and the endurance to run for 5 and 10 minutes behind its prey. A lion doesn't have the speed and the swiftness of other big cats. What does the lion do? It creeps, it hides, it ducks, it camouflages, and then it gets close and close and close enough to its victim, and this victim is away from the herd. A lion versus a herd of this type of animal is no comparison. It can't win. But a sick animal, a young animal, a heedless animal, or the prey that is away from the main body, the lion is very smart. So the lion patiently waits, he creeps, he stalks, and he gets close enough, and once he can close the dip, then he sprints. And he jumps upon an animal, and he overpowers that animal with skill and with brute force. So there's a lion, and there's not one bull, not two bulls, but 3 of them. A bull is a very symbolic animal. How many superstitions are based off of bulls? Taurus. We talk about astronomy, astrology. A bull is a very symbolic animal. And a bull is a strong animal. It's a big animal. It's a formidable animal. And has a great deal of rage and anger when you rile it up. And it's generally colorblind except for red, they say. Right? The matador, right? Bulls, they have horns, they have hoofs, they have legs. They're very powerful animals. So there are three of them. So the fable goes, the lion approached the meadow or the savanna, the grasslands, open plain field. And he saw these three big bulls. And instinctively, the lion became hungry. Man, imagine how good that bull would taste. How much meat and flesh and protein. Me and my pride, we can all enjoy this bull. But it's three of them. I'm no match for three bulls. So how am I going to eat? How am I going to enjoy this meal? So there are two versions of the fable, two versions of the story. The first version of the story goes is that the lion waited until the three bulls were separate. One was in a corner, one was in a second corner, and the third was in the third corner. And he spoke to them individually. And another version of the story is that the lion devised a plan to sacrifice and to ally himself with one of the bulls. A red bull, a white bull, and a black bull. So the lion, he approached the red bull first when the bull was by himself. Hey, you know who I am? The bull said, of course I know who you are. You're the lion. You're strong. You're fierce. You're ferocious. And you like to eat us. What do you want? Go away. He said, relax. I'm not here to eat you. I'm not going to eat you. However, if you work with me, if you help me out, if you do me a favor, I'll spare you. I'll leave you alone. And we can take out the black bull over there who said this about you and who really doesn't like you and who envies you and he's plotting on you and he's trying to do this and he's trying to do that, so on and so on and so on and so forth. So if you help me eat this color bull who already doesn't like you, I'll leave you alone for the day. Fair enough deal or not? It's one-on-one now. I can eat you if I want to, but I'm not going to eat you. I'm your friend. You're going to help me eat the other bull, and we're going to do each other a favor. I get the meal, and I get rid of someone who doesn't like you, who envies you, who said this about you, who's your enemy. It's a win-win, right? So the bull said, sure, no problem. All right, thanks a lot. The lion, he consumed the bull. How many bulls are left? 2. Days went by. The lion is burping and belching, picking his teeth, licking his chop. Oh man, that was a delicious meal. Fresh meat. But guess what? I'm hungry again. And the food was so good, I need another taste. So the lion, he reapproached the field. There are only 2 bulls left. The bulls are separate. He speaks to the white bull. Hey, come here, let me tell you something. What do you want? You're a lion. I heard what happened to the red bull. Get away from me. No. I'm your friend. Don't worry. I'm not going to eat you. I would never eat you. But let me tell you what the black bull said about you. He said this, and he said that, and he envies you, and he really hates you, and he's jealous, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so forth. So, if you let me eat him without helping him out, because 2 bulls versus 1 lion is no match, I'll leave you alone, I'll take care of this enemy of yours, and it's a win-win situation. Okay, no problem. The bull agreed. The lion pounced upon the bull. He consumed the bull. Oh man, that was a delicious meal. That second bull was tastier than the first one. Days go by. The lion digests and consumes. Everything is, in the lion system. And the lion is now what? He's hungry again. How many bulls are left? Just 1. The lion is hungry. He needs to whet his appetite even more. He needs to satisfy himself anymore. But there aren't 3 bulls anymore. There's no one to talk to. So he approaches the last bull and he said, "You're mine." And he kills and he consumes the bull. We understand the wisdom of this story or not? Did we get the moral of the story or not? What's the point of this story and why tell it to your children? What's the importance of making tarbiyah of your children with a story like this? And most importantly, what does this have to do with Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa? What does this have to do with the virtue of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa? What does this have to do with Jerusalem and Palestine? What does this have to do with the third most holy site in Islam? What does this have to do with the lands of migration of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, where the prophets came from, where the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam met the prophets, led them in prayer? What does this have to do with the only masjid after Medina, after Mecca, that a Muslim is allowed to travel to for the purpose of worship? What does this have to do with Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwa sami' al-basir? What does it have to do with this? You stand in front of us and you talk to us about a bull, red, black, white, and a lion, and a Greek slave. What does this have to do with Jerusalem and Palestine? Who got the lesson? Who understood the moral of the story? Anybody? What's the moral of the story? What's the moral of the story? I can't hear you guys. Stick together. To unite. Any other morals of the story? Don't trust people blindly. Any other morals? Huh? Patience? Okay. Any other stories? To help others, maybe getting closer. Any other story? Any other moral of the stories? No other lesson? Don't trust strangers. Getting closer. Any other morals? Any other lessons from this story? Huh? Listen. All right. So let's break down the story once more. How many animals are included? 4. How many species of animals are included? 2. The bull and the lion, should they get along and agree? Are they friends? One eats and consumes the other. What can we possibly talk about? What can me and you sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about? You eat me, you eat my kind. What is there for me and you to sit and to talk about? Secondly, if you allow evil, if you allow wrong to take place to one person, to one race, to one nation, to one woman, to one man, and you say, well, it's none of my business. It's not my concern. It's not my duty. That's a those people problem. That's your race. That's your problem. If you allow that to happen, it's okay. You'll buy yourself some time. You'll save your skin. You'll save your neck. You'll save your country. But know for sure that the oppressor and the aggressor is going to get what? Hungry again. And it's nothing but a matter of time before he takes what? More. And what? And more and more. The more dhulm, the more blood, the stronger and the more powerful the appetite becomes. And you were supposed to have stopped the lion from what? Day one. Any problems that we have, me and the other 2 bulls, is none of your business, lion. It's none of your business. It doesn't concern you. You're a lion. You go back to your pride and you deal with lion problems. Us 3 bulls, we'll worry about our own problems. Let alone, don't you think that it's a big chance and a big possibility that the lion is what? Lying. Maybe, just maybe, he's lying for the purpose of instigation. Did the Red Bull actually say that about the Black Bull or the Red Bull? Maybe he did. You don't know. But instead of me listening to someone who's an enemy to all 3 of us, let me go to the other bull and say, hey, did you say this about me? Do you really think this about me? And let me see what the bull say. Because I'm closer to the bull than I am to the what? To the lion. So therefore, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, until when are we going to sit back and allow the masjid to be disrespected? Until when are we going to sit back and allow the masjid to be desecrated? Until when are we going to sit back, say nothing, do nothing, live our normal lives, and allow the aggressor to take more and more and become hungrier and greedier? Until when? إِلَى مَتَى بِاللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ. Is it not clear enough what the person's plans are for the masjid, what they want to do? And you sit back and you say and do nothing. And one of the reasons why you sit back and say do nothing, because this vicious lion has lied to you. He made you a promise. Hey, Let me handle my problems with this bull who already doesn't like you, who already is a rival, and then we'll be friends and we'll be partners. Subhanallah. Did you ever think about where Masjid Aqsa is located? What is it surrounded by? How is it possible for all of those Muslims to be in that region and be in that area and do nothing and say nothing? Do you know why? Because, as he clearly said, our Arab friends, not our allies, not our neighbors, not the neighboring countries, but they're our friends. The bulls have befriended the lion at the expense of saving their own skin, but that's only temporary. And it's nothing but a matter of time before that aggressive lion will take more. And by the time you wake up and snap out of it, oh man, oh shoot, subhanallah, it's what? It's too late. So the virtues of Masjid al-Aqsa are well known. I'm not here to romanticize or sensationalize things. It's well known how special that place is, that land is, that masjid is. How are we going to sit back and allow it to be taken and disrespected and played with and turned into something only Allah truly knows? Until when? Hopefully you got the moral of the story. Teaching your children from a young age, never listen to your enemy. Teaching your children from a young age, settle your problems, settle your disputes among yourselves first. Be strong, be unified. One lion, one bull, the lion will win. 3 lions, 3 bulls, 1 lion, 2 bulls, 1 lion. It's no way that the lion can win. So as long as we're divided, we're separated, as long as we hate each other, we envy each other, as long as we allow one to be sacrificed for another person's safety and security, we are going to be victims. We're going to be the meal of that lion. Inshallah ta'ala, the message is clear. The moral of the story is clear. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance and for forgiveness. And we ask Allah to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, in the West Bank, Masjid al-Aqsa, and around the entire world. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan.